Is it safe to travel with COVID and hantavirus going around? The hanta seems pretty scary. Dude, am I crazy or isn't that just like something in a cruise ship? Like, isn't it literally trapped in a cruise ship currently because of mouse poop? No? It's in the USA now? One shot, see if you catch it? Yeah, I heard. Nope, a couple people left the cruise before it was caught and they were on flights. Incredible. Well, good thing we got RFK Jr. in charge. Fuck it, we ball. How are you not up to date on this? So, from what I understand, it doesn't spread like COVID. It is a very different spread pattern. It transmits through, it starts from rat poop, right? Like, it started off in this cruise ship because of rat shit, right? And I feel like it's very deadly. And when you get it, you have like a 50-50 survival rate or something. I mean, I don't want to give you misinformation. I'm just talking off top dome. But because it's so deadly, the epidemiologists are saying that it's too deadly to be as to transmit as much as COVID does, and also because it doesn't transmit in the same way. It's through saliva, right?
Officials are racing to contain the deadly hantavirus outbreak that has killed 3 people. Several states.
I can't believe that people still go on cruises. I will never understand it.
It's including Arizona, Georgia, and California, monitoring cruise ship passengers for possible infections. Teams in protective gear transporting 3 patients to emergency flights bound for Amsterdam. This as contact tracing has started on anyone who may have been exposed to sick patients earlier in the trip who disembarked at different locations. One such traveler was removed from a KLM flight in Johannesburg a day before her death. KLM saying due to the passenger's medical condition at the time, the crew decided not to allow the passenger to travel on the flight. 88 of those passengers from that flight now being tracked by the World Health Organization after possibly being exposed. And the WHO says a Swiss man who had returned home with his wife tested positive for hantavirus on Wednesday. He remains hospitalized. There are now 11 suspected cases of hantavirus infection from that ship, 5 testing positive in a lab. Hantavirus is a respiratory infection with no treatment and can kill up to 40% of those infected. The World Health Organization says testing so far identified the rare Andes strain, which can spread from person to person.
That is the species that has been identified on the cruise ship. And so that's why they're starting to worry more and more about the potential for person-to-person spread on the cruise ship.
Health officials now suspect the first victim to contract the virus picked it up in Argentina before getting on the ship. In mid-March, he'd visited a landfill during a bird-watching tour, and officials suspect he contracted it from rodents. The captain announces his death weeks ago, telling those on board the man was not infectious before anyone knew it was hantavirus.
This is my sad duty to inform you that one of our passengers sadly passed away last night. I'm told by the doctor we're not infectious. So the ship is safe when it comes to this.
But dog, this is literally why cruise ships are terrifying to me. I just don't understand why people entertain it. Like, you're just stuck. You're just stuck on a fucking floating trash barge that has a litany of diseases in it. It doesn't make any fucking sense. You're scared of water? No, man. It's not that I'm scared of water. Like, sure, I'm afraid not of the water, but I'm afraid of the ocean. But like, I'll go out on the sea on a boat. I'm not afraid of boating. I'm not afraid of going on a fucking boat. I'm not afraid of swimming. I'm afraid of taking unnecessary risks. And I feel like the cruise, what you get out of it is nowhere near worth the pain. The downsides are endless for incredibly limited upside, which is just a shittier version of going to a fucking all-inclusive resort. It's objectively a shittier version. It's on the sea and you can like maybe get a day off at port. Austin show boo bad take. Bitch, we're talking about a deadly virus. Aren't you supposed to be a hypochondriac? Fuck you mean boo bad take? What kind of hypochondriac are you, Austin? Wrong, worst take. I'm not going on this cruise. Oh, but you'll go on the next one. Okay. Good luck, man. You're saying all cruises are bad based on one cruise? No, I'm saying that even in the best possible scenario on a cruise, you're still trapped on a ship with a fuck ton of people and a fuck ton of disease. What about an airplane? I mean, in the airplane, you have a much more limited contact for a much shorter period of time. I think air travel is also dangerous. In a similar vein, don't get me wrong. But when you're on a boat, when you're on a fucking cruise, you're floating around with a far larger group of people for sometimes a week in a closed environment. I feel like there's an infinitely higher likelihood of contracting some kind of disease, not just hantavirus. I just mean like in general. The cruises I go on don't go to landfills usually. Oh my God. This is literally, you know what this is? Yeah. Also, I'm not even making a comparison between air travel and cruises. Cruises are unbelievably unnecessary. Air travel is still necessary for not only delivery, but just travel in general. But this is straight up. This is literally Republican thinking, okay? This is Republican mentality. Well, the cruise I'll go doesn't go near a landfill. Are cruises BDS? I don't know. I'm just saying, I think cruises are gross, and it's not worth it. Airplanes have good air filters and HVAC, plus on a cruise, tons of people eat close together, go in pools, limited hand washing, etc., etc. You're also in a closed environment with a fuck ton more people for a much longer period of time.
That man likely spread it to his wife, who also died. Ruhi Chenet was a passenger on the ship and says the cruise continued as normal.
Since we were not informed of any contagious disease, everyone was relaxed.
Medical teams are monitoring the nearly 150 people still on board, including 17 Americans, as they make their way to the Canary Islands in Spain. The State Department telling ABC News the Trump administration has no higher priority than the safety and security of Americans, and they are ready to assist any affected Americans.
Oh, great. Also, that's the other side of the story. RFK Jr. is on the job, baby.
Health officials around the world are racing to contain a deadly outbreak of hantavirus that's linked to this cruise ship in the Atlantic. The Dutch airline KLM says one of the ship's passengers, who later died after contracting the virus, boarded a flight in South Africa before the plane's crew decided she was too sick to travel. The Georgia Department of Public Health says 2 people who returned home to the state after getting off the ship are being monitored right now, and 1 Arizona resident who was also on board is also being...
Bro, you know her ass wasn't wearing a mask either. Like, just sick and traveling, no mask whatsoever.
Watched by officials there. And according to the New York Times, California residents were on the ship as well. CNN's Randy Kay looks now at how this virus may have spread.
This was an expedition boat, and many of the people on board were doing bird watching.
Turns out a bird watching tour may be the source of this hantavirus outbreak. According to the Associated Press, 2 Argentine officials investigating how this started said their government is leaning toward the idea that a Dutch couple contracted the virus while bird watching in the city of Ushuaia, Argentina, before boarding the ship. The AP reports the couple visited a landfill during the tour and may have been exposed to infected rodents. That 70-year-old Dutch man was the first to die on the ship, days after they left port in Argentina. His 69-year-old wife died about 2 weeks later. The rest of the people on board, including nearly 150 passengers, are now on a 3 to 4 day journey from Cape Verde to
Bro, stop the cruise. What are we doing? What do you mean they're on a trip? They should stop and wait it out. You just drop ship. Like, what do you mean you just keep going on the cruise? What are we talking about? I feel like, I'm not going to say sink the ship, right? But just, put it near a port somewhere, keep a watchful eye on the cruise, and, drop ship medical personnel every now and then with the necessary gear, and they just do the treatments on the ship. Or maybe port it up next to a goddamn medical ship and transfer some of the patients by necessity. The fuck do you mean we got a floating petri dish in Cape Verde that's on his way to different hot spots? I feel like this at that point is a bioweapon, Am I crazy? That is what they're doing at the port? Okay.
Reef in the Canary Islands. Spain has agreed to receive the ship there. Upon arrival, the plan is for all passengers to be taken to a nearby airport and sent back to their home countries.
No. What are you doing? No. Keep them away for now. What? Yes, you are. That's against WHO regulations. WHO is what I say to the World Health Organization. Am I crazy? Shouldn't people get properly vetted, properly treated before they just travel internationally all around the world? with what I suspect is an unbelievably deadly disease? What the fuck? 30 massive red bubbles are about to appear in the atmosphere. Send them back on planes is not WHO regulations, by the way. Yeah, I assume the regulation here is to quarantine these people, right? Yeah, we're not 100% sure how deadly this is. We just know that it says pretty fucking deadly. We don't know. The genetic sequencing samples of the hantavirus strain of the outbreak suggest that the virus is nearly identical to the version seen in Argentina and is not mutated in ways that would make it a greater threat. According to Tulio de Oliveira, director of the Center of Epidemic Response and Innovation at Stellenbosch University in South Africa. Bro, if we can fucking blockade the Strait of Hormuz, we can blockade this one specific cruise ship. Okay, just cordon it out. Quarantine these motherfuckers. What are we doing? Sometimes I feel like they're just playing around, you know? The global leadership is just like, yeah, fuck it, let's ball. Let's make things fuck it, roll the dice. Let's make things interesting, okay? Shit, we just came over. We just went over this a couple of years ago. Why not again? Maybe we can blame China for this one too. Fuck it, we ball.
The 14 Spanish citizens will be examined and go directly into quarantine at a Madrid hospital.
This is the country of Cape Verde in front of us, but it is forbidden to go down to it.
This travel vlogger on board posted on social media about the predicament they now find themselves in.
Today was supposed to be the last day of our 35-day trip on the Atlantic, but it is clear that our journey...
35 days, bro? 35 days? What are you, Christopher Columbus? What the fuck are you doing on a ship for 35 days? What the fuck are you doing on a ship for 35 motherfucking days, bro? This is what I mean. People that do cruises, we're entirely separate organisms. I feel like I have something in my brain that you guys don't, or vice versa, where you have something in your brain and I don't, where I hear the idea of being out in sea for 35 days with a bunch of random motherfuckers, and I think to myself, just kill me now. Just kill me ahead of time. Fuck it. I don't want to contract a rare deadly disease and then go kill my loved ones in the process. Just kill me right now. Just shoot me in the fucking head. The fuck do you mean you went on a cruise ship knowing that it was 35 days? Did you get duped into it? Did you think it was gonna be 3 days, maybe 5, and it turns out it was 35? How does that happen?
It will not end here because Cape Verde refused to receive us on its coast.
Earlier today, this medical evacuation boat removed 3 sick people from the ship. On their way to the Netherlands, a source from Spain's health ministry told CNN that Morocco refused to let the plane carrying 2 of the evacuees land to refuel. Instead, it made an unscheduled landing at Gran Canaria Airport to do so.
People are usually infected through contact with infected rodents, or their urine, their droppings, or their saliva. Human-to-human transmission is uncommon.
Yet in this case, the World Health Organization believes the virus may have been transmitted person to person on board. And just today, following lab tests, confirmed this is the Andes strain of the virus, which has spread among close contacts before.
We're also working with authorities for anyone that has left the ship.
In fact, the Swiss Federal Office of Public Health has confirmed that a passenger who traveled on the first leg of the voyage and disembarked at St. Helena on April 24th has now tested positive for hantavirus. That passenger, according to the cruise company, is being treated at a hospital in Zurich. His wife, who was with him, has not shown symptoms but is self-isolating as a precaution. Randy Kay, CNN, New York.
And today, a German woman who may have been exposed to the virus on board that ship was picked up by a convoy of emergency vehicles after being flown to Amsterdam. Doctors say the woman is in stable condition but remains quarantined. For more on what life is like for the 150 people still on board the infected ship, I want to bring in CNN's Melissa Bell. Wow, I mean, personally, this would be my worst nightmare, to be on this ship, knowing what's going on with this virus that can incubate for up to 8 weeks, right, Melissa?
That's right. With all the confusion.
So this rat shit just cooks in you for 8 weeks? Oh my lord. Oh my lord. Holy moly. This shit sucks. Oh, what a nightmare. What a fucking nightmare, dude. What the hell is this? Hantavirus? Origin of hantavirus. What? Still unknown. Argentine Health Ministry. Hantavirus? What is happening? Netflix documentary incoming? Bitch, what do you mean? I will never understand it. You will never be able to convince me. They released a picture of the passenger who disembarked and flew to California. It was really funny, man. Oh, we got a funny guy in here doing funny business.
confusion and uncertainty that has gone on the ship itself. You know, we've now seen the video of the initial captain's announcement that was made the day after that first patient, the Dutchman, died, explaining that he died and that they believed that it was natural causes and so on. And it was only later, much later, that it was understood that this virus had been at play. The company...
It's bizarre. Hantavirus almost never jumps from human to human like this. Usually it's coming from into contact with rat feces or something. Cruise ship chef. Yeah, that's crazy. It must have mutated or something. Hasantavirus? Okay, guys.
In April 2026, a group of people boarded a cruise ship in Argentina. 5 days later, one of the passengers started feeling ill, and 5 more days later, he wasn't alive anymore. No one knew what happened. When the ship arrives at St. Helena Island 13 days later, on April 24th, his body was examined at the hospital. His wife, who accompanied his body, wasn't feeling well. The next day, she took a flight from St. Helena Island to Johannesburg, South Africa. When she lands, she collapses at the airport and then passes away. The cruise company hadn't confirmed that these deaths were related to a medical situation on board that boat. But the same day, when the wife passes away, another passenger on the boat becomes ill. He's evacuated to South Africa and admitted into the intensive care unit. 5 days later, on May 2nd, another passenger on the ship has difficulty breathing before suddenly passing away. From the patient still alive in South Africa, doctors are able to confirm that he has hantavirus. World Health Organization is contacted, and they're able to identify 7 total cases of hantavirus on board the ship, and including the deceased. This is a family of viruses, and it usually gets passed from animal to human, inhaling airborne particles of infected rodent droppings. But there's multiple hantaviruses, and they're known to cause either cardiopulmonary collapse, where the heart and the lungs fail together, or they destroy the kidneys. The problem is there weren't any rodents on the ship. So where did this come from? There is one hantavirus known as the Andes virus.
Yosemite has hantavirus within its rodent population for years and gets 15 to 20 million visitors every year, and no one gets hantavirus. It's exceedingly rare for this type of spread. Once they're off the ship, not confined with infected people, the chance of it spreading drops dramatically. Most rodent populations have hantavirus. People are blowing this out of proportion. I mean, I feel like this is... The fear is that this might be mutated, right?
Virus that's been known to transmit from human to human. It's the only known hantavirus to do this so far. And in 2018, there was a birthday party that became known as a spreader event for Andes virus that ended with 34 people getting infected and 11 deaths. And this birthday party happened in Argentina, where people boarded this cruise ship. As of the time that I'm posting this, they're still confirming if it is actually Andes virus. They're contact tracing the people who are on the flight with the wife who died after landing. The doctor on board the cruise ship who would be seeing passengers with symptoms is also sick, suggesting that this could be Andes virus because human-to-human contact. Now, on the flip side, it's not that hard to get sick sometimes on a cruise ship. This is the cardiopulmonary collapse version of the virus, so there's no known direct treatment other than to get a machine to oxygenate blood during the time that the lungs are shut down, which is usually just a couple days for this virus, so you have to identify it early. So those people who are on the ship now that folks are aware of this, you should be able to get treatment in time in case you have symptoms. This isn't new. This particular one doesn't happen that often. Last year, Betsy Arakawa, Gene Hackman's wife, passed away from a hantavirus found in New Mexico. And that's the state where we found hantavirus in the United States for the first time back in 1993. I wouldn't panic over this given the information that we have. Just make sure that you wash your hands often.
Just vibe out the virus. I got hantavirus when I was watching some anime. Good one. Yeah, don't worry. MTG got us all covered. I assume it's ivermectin, right? She's saying... I actually texted her today and asked what can we treat hantavirus with. I'm so glad she posted it. Ivermectin. Also, vitamin D and zinc. Those of us who refuse to lock down, mask up, and get vaxxed took the good old horse pace and developed natural immunity. Can someone, what? Who was the first motherfucker that said ivermectin, bro? We gotta find that guy and study that person's brain. Somewhere along the line, someone was like, I got the perfect solution for this. It's called ivermectin. And now they're like, there is a new deadly virus going around. It has a 50% mortality rate. It is totally different than coronavirus. But just like with coronavirus, you guessed it, ivermectin solves all of your problems. How do we, where did I'm more interested in where the ivermectin cure originated from than even the COVID variant originated from, honestly. It's incredible how resilient this meta has been. It's incredible. People just straight up think ivermectin is a one-stop shop cure-all. It's an all-purpose cure. Yeah. Brace, CBD is also very effective at mitigating symptoms. Yeah. Oh, honey, let's make sure we visit the landfill. Why did they go to an Argentinian landfill, man? What the fuck? What is up with the land? I mean, whatever. I'm sorry. I'm not going to watch a chat GPT wall of text on Twitter. Okay. Not going to happen.
That runs the ship has put out a statement explaining that it wasn't known at the time. It took them some time to figure out that this was a virus and that everyone needed to quarantine. And of course, as we just heard, people then disembarked in St. Helena. There was another disembarkation in Ascension Island. 3 more people disembarked at Cape Verde because by then we knew the virus was going around and these were suspected or confirmed cases. For those still on board, what we understand is happening, Pamela, is that they're being quarantined in their own rooms. They're staying inside their cabins. Their food is being brought to them there. And all the precautions are being taken so that there are no further infections or transmissions of this Andes strain of hantavirus.
You never get the uncontrollable urge to see how other countries dispose of their trash? No. Bro, you've never gone bird watching near a landfill? No. Sometimes morbid curiosity makes you want to visit what can only be described as the worst place available in a fourth world country. Am I crazy? I don't get it. I think that's a controllable urge. Okay, one case in Tel Aviv. They just want to be involved in everything. Okay. Oh, this was us too. Okay. Classic Israeli behavior. It's like, oh, this is actually a indigenous Israeli virus too. Yeah. First you got hummus. Then you take falafel, couscous, everything. And now hantavirus too. Let the people have something. Okay. Oh, no. This was us too. We invented it. Yeah. Just like those little cherry tomatoes. We invented the hantavirus too. Hantavirus. That's why. It's like Hamas. Hantavirus. Hamas. What is this? The Israeli hantavirus case is a different strain from the cruise ship. It's unrelated. Oh.
Now, at least they have a port in sight, and this had been unclear for some time, really until yesterday. We didn't know what port would accept taking in this ship and dealing then with what will be a very complicated operation to get these 147 passengers off, all the crew members off as well, to quarantine them and to successfully take them to where they need to go. You showed a moment ago that convoy in Germany. That is just one passenger suspected, confirmed, but still one passenger getting from the ship to Amsterdam and onwards to a hospital that can treat them. Imagine that multiplied by the number of people who are going to get off the ship. We've just been hearing, however, from the World Health Organization, and they say that beyond the 5 confirmed cases and the 3 people who sadly died, there has been no further identified transmission on board. So that is the good news. But again, this is a strain of the virus that has an incubation period of 8 weeks, which substantially complicates things for anyone who's been in contact with either people who've left or for those who are still on the ship or will be in contact with them when they get off, Pamela.
Off the coast of West Africa, a cruise ship under quarantine.
Yeah, that's the doctor.
3 more passengers medically evacuated, all tied to a deadly outbreak of hantavirus, a rare, typically rodent-borne disease with no specific treatment or cure. The open decks of the MV Hondias deserted, dining rooms empty, passengers told to stay in their cabins.
Hi, I'm Jake, and I'm spending the next 35 days crossing that.
Stop. Every time they say 35 days, I'm like, come on. Stop. Stop playing. Stop playing with me. Stop playing around, man. 35 days? 35 days? What the fuck is wrong with people, bro? I can't get over it. 35 days on a fucking petri dish. 35 days? Bro. I thought since the invention of air travel, mankind has lost the need, unless they're transiting oil through the Strait of Hormuz, okay, in an oil tanker or in one of those like massive ships, to be out at sea like that. The only people that are resilient enough to be seafaring people are the Filipino people, okay? Pinoy gang, the Swagapinos. No one other than Swagapinos can withstand being out in the ocean for 35 days, okay? That's it. And they got swag, which they have replaced the need of oxygen with. Pinoy gang. 35 fucking days on a goddamn cruise ship.
Atlantic, visiting some of the most remote islands in the world.
This is how the journey began for Jake Rosemarine, a Boston photographer, one of around 150 people on board.
People with families, with lives, with people waiting for us at home.
Health officials are now retracing the ship's route, trying to figure out where and when passengers became infected.
That's a devastating edit, by the way. They go from, oh, I can't wait for 35 days of fun and looking at the birds to that crying cut. That's crazy. CNN fucked him up with that one. I'm not going to lie. Like, that's a devastating edit by CNN. That's diabolical, okay? Someone on the CNN production side was thinking in the same way that I'm thinking when they were just like, 35 days? That's a lot.
Their 35-day expedition began from the edge of Antarctica, visiting some of the most remote islands in the South Atlantic.
On those islands, there are birds. Some islands have a lot of rodents, others don't.
Hantavirus is usually picked up by breathing in particles from rodent droppings or urine. Symptoms often start like the flu, but can quickly cause severe breathing problems, organ failure, and death. The incubation period, 1 to 8 weeks. Lab tests have yet to confirm it, but investigators think this may be a rare South American strain that sometimes spreads not just from rodents, but between people.
Among the really close contacts, the husband and wife, people who've shared cabins, etc.
This small boat medically evacuated a handful of infected passengers. Investigators say the outbreak began in early April. The first victim, a Dutch passenger, died on board April 11th. His wife died around 2 weeks later in a hospital in South Africa. A third passenger, a German national, died on board on May 2nd. A British passenger remains in intensive care. Everyone else stuck on board, undergoing medical checks. A situation Kent and Rebecca Frazier know all too well.
We don't know how long you had to stay in the hostel.
I met them back in 2020. They were quarantined on the Diamond Princess cruise ship off Japan.
What's the hardest part?
I'd say the unknown.
Rebecca, one of the first Americans to test positive for COVID.
There she is. She's standing in the window right now. Rebecca, here we are. Hi.
She spent weeks in a Tokyo hospital. Kent was quarantined in their...
Wait, did I misunderstand? Were they on this ship too? Wait.
Stuck on board, undergoing medical checks. A situation Kent and Rebecca Frazier know all too well.
We don't know how long you had to stay in the hostel.
I met them back in 2020. They were quarantined on...
Oh, no, he's just saying like he interviewed them back in 2020 because they have a similar experience. Bro, I thought literally that the same couple that was stuck on Diamond Princess is now stuck on a hantavirus cruise ship. I thought they were like, well, let's roll the dice again. Okay, patient 0, it seems. The way he transitioned into that other couple not so subtly implied that they might have been stuck on the hantavirus cruise ship too. Right? But that's not the case. He's just... No, they were? Wait. Shut the fuck up. Wait. I'm sorry. No, that's unbelievable.
Infected passengers. Investigators say the outbreak began in early April. The first victim, a Dutch passenger, died on board April 11th. National died on board on May 2nd. A British passenger remains in intensive care. Everyone else stuck on board, undergoing medical checks. A situation Kent and Rebecca Frazier know all too well.
We don't know how long you had to stay in the hostel.
I met them back in 2020. They were quarantined on the Diamond Princess cruise ship off Japan.
What's the hardest part?
I'd say the unknown.
Rebecca, one of the first Americans to test positive for COVID.
There she is. She's standing in the window right now. Rebecca, here we are. Hi.
She spent weeks in a Tokyo hospital. Kent was quarantined in their cabin. what would be your advice for passengers stuck on this ship right now?
If you start thinking about what's happening around you, it is so difficult to stay away from a mindset where you're getting depressed.
Yeah, bro, I'm telling you, these guys weren't on the new ship, okay? They didn't get double dicked. They weren't patient zero twice. They were patient zero once, okay? He just slammed them into the back of the fucking piece to be like, see, I have a lot of experience with people who have been previously stuck in cruise ships during COVID. That's just what it is. The way he transitioned into it made it seem like they had actually been stuck on this one too, which I would have said at that point is, you gotta put these people into an isolated facility and study them for science, and not even on some like they get sick all the time shit. I mean, like, study their brains for science as to understand how someone could be patient zero during COVID and then still choose to go on cruise ships after that. You know what I mean? Because that's truly, that would have been a remarkable feat.
And just like really fearful of what's going to happen. You have to try to stay as upbeat as you can.
They know how difficult staying upbeat can be. For everyone on the MV Hondius facing fear and uncertainty on a floating quarantine zone.
Dr. Stephen Kornfeld, he's on board the hantavirus hit cruise ship, and he has helped care for sick passengers. And doctor, I very much appreciate your...
Dog, I don't want to say nothing, but it kind of feels like he got it. Like, not on some zombie bite shit, but he kind of doesn't look too good. Look, he's a doctor, okay? He's been treating a lot of patients on this ship, probably. I'm just saying. Stop? Really? Bro, are you telling me sincerely that this doctor looks good? He looks like he's been treating patients with hantavirus for the past 2 weeks. That's what he looks like.
Your time, of course, you're on that ship right now, and you started out just as a passenger, but you're a doctor. So when this started, you ended up helping.
Bro, if I'm a doctor, maybe I'm a bad guy, but let's say I'm on a fucking cruise ship and there's a deadly disease going around and everyone's like, is there a doctor here? I'd be like, no. Is there? I'd be like, oh yeah, echo. I would echo it. I'd be like, yeah, is there a doctor? Is there? Oh, I sure wish there was a doctor around so they could do doctoring. Not me though. I'm illiterate. I don't even know how to read. I forgot. Bad student. Organic chemistry. The fuck is that? Orgo? Never heard of it. Not a doctor. A hippopotamus oath? What do you mean, like the animal? Nah. Not me. I got a doctorate in racism. That's what I did. I got a doctorate in racism. Dual major. PhD. Jihad. Yeah. That's right. Ask me about slurs. I got your slurs for days. I got your favorite slurs. I'll tell you slurs you haven't heard before.
Treat people, including the ship's doctor. How did that happen?
It sort of happened gradually. I knew one of the passengers was getting ill. This was at the end of April, and I just reached out and asked if I could assist the doc, make sure he...
See, this is what I mean. He volunteered. That's crazy. Sir, there's a doctor on the ship already, okay? Yeah, that's crazy.
Felt he had adequate coverage, and I was told that the doctor was also sick. So over 12 to 24 hours, it became clear that there were a number of people sick and that they were getting sicker. And I sort of fell into the role of becoming the ship doctor.
I know you treated the ship's doctor and that he was eventually, you were telling us, actually evacuated off the ship, which left you caring for other patients as well. I mean, can you describe the sorts of symptoms that you've seen, doctor?
Well, there were 3 patients. That seemed to be...
Also, this motherfucker's a bird watcher. Okay, look at this shirt. That's a bird watching ass shirt right there. That's definitely a look. Okay, 100%. That guy's a bird. I see that guy on the wild. I'll be like, that's a bird watcher.
Getting ill around the same time. One of them, just very non-specific symptoms, a lot of confusion and a lot of weakness. And she...
That's his landfill bird watching shirt. Hey. That's so stupid. Stop.
Ultimately passed away relatively quickly. The two other gentlemen, quite a bit younger, including the doc, just had a lot of standard viral symptoms. A lot of fever, fatigue, flushing, some GI issues, some shortness of breath. At the time, neither one of them looked critically ill, but the fear with hantavirus is you can go from seriously ill to critically ill very, very quickly.
You know, a woman yesterday who had survived hantavirus was telling us exactly that, doctor. She had sort of flu-like symptoms. Suddenly in her case, it was a cough as her lungs filled, and she ends up in a medically induced coma on life support. How concerned are you about the potential for things to escalate? And for those...
Only the dead Dutch couple went to the landfill, face with rolling eyes emoji. Okay, but see, that's the problem with cruise ships. Okay? There's hundreds of people on board, and if one of them gets the bright idea to go to a landfill to see specifically landfill birds, then basically everybody went to the landfill. Okay? That's how it works.
Patients, even now that some of them have been evacuated.
Well, when they're on the ship, I'm very concerned because the ability to treat somebody at that critical state here on this boat is non-existent. But now that they've been evacuated, they're in Denmark. I mean, they're getting magnificent care. Even if such an event happened, they would get supported. And I think what happens with hantavirus, ultimate survivability is really dependent on your ability to get critical care at the right time. And on the boat, that would not be possible. But now that they're in, home and standard hospitals, that's entirely possible. So my concern level for them is now low, which is very relieving.
I can only imagine, especially as you cared for them. And what is your feeling right now? I mean, you and everyone else on board, you're stuck there, essentially quarantined, and I know you don't know when you'll necessarily be able to get off, but also with the long incubation period of this virus, and even in your case, doctor, of course, just to be blunt, you were treating people who had it. How concerned are you about getting sick?
Early on, we didn't.
Do we have... He's getting worse, by the way.
No.
Look, the doctor's getting worse. The camera's getting worse. Do we have like PTSD from COVID? Do we have COVID-induced PTSD, you think, chat? A little bit? Because you got a lot of people in the chat being like, oh, Trump said this. Kind of reminds me of COVID days. It's kind of like John Fetterman. COVID and John Fetterman, two very similar concepts. You've been burned so hard by COVID that you're now like, this is COVID. Same with John Fetterman. You've been burned so hard by John Fetterman that you think like everyone could be John Fetterman. I could be John Fetterman. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, cold sweat after a long night of dreaming that I was John Fetterman all along, going around and walking around in circles, walking into traffic. I wake up from that drunken stupor, realize I'm not John Fetterman. I say, thank God. Y'all have that?
That it was hantavirus until maybe May 2nd, May 3rd. But I started treating for people May 1st, just kind of have a feeling that this could be infectious. So from the beginning, I was trying to be very careful with masks and gowns. And once we found out it was hantavirus and a second case happened, making it seem likely there was an infectious form, I was able to find some aprons and some goggles. I did a lot of hand washing and clothes washing. I think hantavirus is hard to spread, even though on the ship it seemed to spread.
And Dr. Kornfeld, do you and everyone else that's on board right now, just given that you have no idea when you can get off and if you'll be allowed to, what is the mood and how long do you think you'll be on board this ship?
Well,
How are you going to have a speech tonight? Sleepy? I'm so sleepy. Dude, I did not sleep a lot last night. I'm just going to down like some energy bevs. I'm going to slam them. Couple brewskis, couple energy bevs. back to back. Hope that it helps. You know what I'm saying? Just fucking down in them shits. Boom, boom, boom. I'm about to go up on that stage tonight at the rally and be John Fetterman, John Fetty Wop. I'm like, hey, what's up? Hello. I'm going to give San Francisco Chronicle something to write about, if you know what I mean. Okay?
Be in a different circumstance than the other passengers because I had a lot more contact than they did. And we've been on this boat for 5 weeks. And the original patient episode was many, many weeks ago. And the remainder of the passengers have really had no contact with any of the sick people recently. So in some ways, most people on the boat have been in quarantine, isolation for 3-4 weeks. So I'm feeling pretty good that most people will get off the boat relatively rapidly. We now have 2, during the evacuation, we were able to get 2 WHO epidemiologists and 2 Danish ID doctors. So now there's a great team on board who is really going through every aspect of this infection, how it's...
Wait, they came in with... Are the doctors on board also bird watchers? Do they bring in a specialty bird watching doctor where they're like, oh, thank God, you know, maybe we get a free bird watching trip?
And what it means for the passengers remaining, both for their health and for their possible transmission down the road. So I'm feeling pretty good that most people will get off the boat relatively soon, and hopefully I will get off soon also.
Well, I mean, it's incredible what you were able to do. And when that doctor got sick, that you stepped in at that moment when there was no one.
Yeah, he's a better man than me.
All of them were.
He a better man than me. I would have been like, I've never heard of a doctor. I'm a practicer of Christian medicine, actually. I think we can pray the gay away and we can pray whatever this disease is. I can't see it. I don't believe it. That's what I would forget, you know? He's a better man than me. I'd be like, nope. I don't got the proper protective gear. I'm done. I'm out. I'm staying the fuck in my room, okay? I'm just going to keep jorking my peanuts, okay? No more bird watching. I'm not even looking at birds. Yeah, sorry. Oh, yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not a doctor. I'm a chiropractor. In this day and age, they might be like, oh my God, that's even better than a fucking MD, to be fair. They'd be like, oh, do you have extra ivermectin, please, sir? I would love to rub that horse dewormer paste on my pussy to fix my hantavirus.
To have you there on that boat. When you hear Dr. Kornfeld talking about the situation on board, you know, when they realized it was infectious and his role obviously in helping the ship doctor treat patients and then treating the ship doctor himself, who then was evacuated, you know, what do you take away from everything that you just heard?
Well, it's good to talk again, unfortunately, Aaron. But a couple things that I take away. First, what's happening on the ship is quite severe. This is a serious virus, and you hear it from the doctor, and we're very fortunate he stepped up. But there are a couple things that catch my attention in that last segment when he was speaking. I think it's great he's taking precautions like aprons and goggles and hand washing. But there is evidence that hantavirus, the Andes strain, spreads.
Is everyone on the ship bald? Yeah, no, this is real. Brooke Jenkins, as district attorney in San Francisco, it's my solemn duty to safeguard the city for his people and posterity. If Hassan Piker enters San Francisco city limits, he will be immediately arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. It's crazy, though, because that's a joke. Except yesterday, someone from San Francisco, the San Francisco Democratic Party, did genuinely do this sincerely. While this is a joke, turns out it's not that much of a joke.
Human to human through the air. In fact, our best prior knowledge about transmission of this virus shows that it can be transmitted pretty effectively with no direct
voice mod. Voice changing isn't active for stream right now.
What is this?
Play AI text-to-speech sound bites on the stream. Bro's got a Hasan AI voice in the soundboard.
I love to chill in my $3 million mansion.
Bro's got an AI Hasan soundboard under his video player, man. That's so crazy. That's so insane.
Who is this? Is this just like a random guy that he was...
You get a schedule on this beast? No schedule. Voice mod.
That's his buddy he plays CS with all the time? No, I know this is Northern Lion. I think he was looking at some weirdo's Twitch profile. Flack Blag or Corey, his friend. Oh, why does Northern Lion's friend have a soundboard, AI soundboard of me saying things I say all the time, like, I love to chill in my $3 million mansion. You as a doctor on the cruise, obsessed with the gay guy on the hantavirus cruise, and tomorrow the sun will rise again. As I mentioned before, we are being well fed and taken care of. Dinner in the cabin, pumpkin risotto and Coke Zero. Like, no offense, but there's hantavirus in that risotto, diva. It's such a vibe. Oh my God. That's crazy. You look like a 90s anime version of what people think a hot Turkish guy looks like? What? Check the passengers' TikTok comments.
I normally wouldn't make a video like this, but I feel like I need to say something, so I wrote a few things down. I am currently on board the MV Hondius.
What is this? I'm sorry, but listen, Jake, I feel bad for y'all, but you better stay on that darn boat. Keep your head up and feet on board. You are home, diva. That boat is your home. I know a guy. Oh my God, everyone is telling him that he needs to fucking... I want to acknowledge that your fear and feeling are validated by so many, including the Little Antarctica group chat that's incredibly disappointed by the misinformation about the ship crew situation. Second, trips like these take so much saving and planning, and I empathize with the inexplicable juxtaposition you're experiencing going from such a wonder and joy to such scary uncertainty. Please know that there are people who are seeking / understand the facts, including how slow, touchy the Wi-Fi is, and are sharing your human experience from factual, heartfelt place. Is wild you asking to dock, bro. Come on. You're telling me you can't wait a few weeks on board? Stay on that boat, bro, Chacho. I want to go home. This is your home. Oh my God. The fact that people don't have empathy for people on the ship is so crazy and disgusting. I'm sorry, but I'm not trying to be quarantined for 2 years again. The AI TSS thing looks to be a sponsor thing. And of course, AI bros hate you. This is what it links to. Okay. It's not surprising.
And what's happening right now is very real for all of us here. We're not just a story. We're not just headlines. We're people. People with families, with lives, with people waiting for us at home. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part. All we want right now is to feel safe, to have clarity, and to get home. So if you're seeing coverage about this, just remember that there are real people behind it, and that this isn't something happening somewhere far away. It's happening to us right now. I'll share more when I can.
No refund, by the way. I mean, they saw the birds. At least they're not charging him extra to stay, a couple weeks extra, I'm sorry, did you see the birds? Well, guess what? No refunds. Wait, there are people behind the virus? What do you mean? There are people... yeah, these are the people behind the virus. They invented it. What does that even mean? I was joking.
But for now, I just ask for your kindness and understanding. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think we should be fucking around with this stuff. Maybe I'm a little bit too careful. Okay? Perhaps I'm a little bit too careful, but I don't think we should be fucking around with deadly diseases and such. Okay? You need to pack it up. Sorry, for the rest of the world for a little bit, okay? Maybe we'll fly some birds near the fucking cabin so you can look outside of your window, but just... Am I rude for this? I don't know. Quarantine, definitely. What are we doing? I'm sure there's birds wherever you guys are, There's definitely a lot of bird watching you can do from the deck. That's it. Take it all in. I feel bad, but also we can't be taking a risk,
Contact. So I would urge him and everyone on that ship and everyone treating these...
Shut up about the fucking birds. Man, do you think I'm a bird watcher? Do you think I'm the type of guy that would go on a 35-day cruise to look at birds? Do you think I'm the type of guy who would go anywhere near a fucking landfill in Argentina of all places? I'm the last guy. I'm the last guy in this predicament, okay? And this is part of the reason why. You never know.
patients who are infected to pay attention to the things we've talked about all throughout COVID, good ventilation and good filtration.
So let me just talk about something.
Just the other side of this problem is that, like, we got RFK Jr. in charge, man. You know what I'm saying? We got motherfucking RFK Jr. in charge. Like, we can't risk this, okay? We can't risk this. It doesn't even have to be deadly. It can be a light breeze that's taking us out. It's taking like millions out. RFK will find a way to make this as deadly as possible. You understand me? Just saying. He's going to be like, use ivermectin and bleach for hantavirus, which is fake. It's made up. You should just take ivermectin anyway. We're fucked. We're fucked. We're fucked. No CDC. We're fucked.
Because this is obviously the crucial question, right? This whole issue of whether it's droplet spread or airborne. This is a strain of a virus that I know people know about. You know, there was an outbreak before. They contained it. They shut down an area in Argentina. They contained it. So what makes you, in what you're seeing, have this concern about airborne, which obviously is something that can affect where this goes from here significantly?
Yeah, Aaron, I think there were early and obvious signs even before we did the sequencing to determine what strain this is. Remember, there's the hantavirus normally spread through rodent droppings, but there is a strain, the Andes strain, that is spread human to human. And there was evidence that was happening early on before we even knew it was the Andes strain, because one person infected someone many weeks later. The ship doctor is sick. Prior investigations have shown pretty efficient spread without any direct contact. So we knew this was spread not just definitely through human to human, but also through the air. And that means we have to take these additional precautions. Once again, just like our many discussions during COVID, I hear a lot of great precautions being taken, great investigations being done, but very little about what is happening with these ships' systems in terms of the ventilation filtration, keeping people safe. And that hasn't fully been communicated. The acting CDC director put out a message today that says this is not spread. It's only spread through direct contact. But the New England Journal of Medicine article about that prior outbreak is very clear that there are many instances where there is spread with no direct contact at all.
Right, which is obviously crucial. Now, you heard Dr. Kornfeld talking about how long everyone's been on board and what a quarantine might really mean in context of the long incubation period. And we have a question from one of our viewers. They ask, it's said that it can take 8 weeks to become symptomatic. The passengers shouldn't be allowed into the public until they're completely cleared. You know, what is that a fair way to look at this? I mean, how long do you think people should be quarantined who are either on that ship or in contact with someone who was there?
Yeah, I mean, this is the big challenge with this virus, the long incubation period. And now we have people scattered really around the globe that are being properly tracked, isolated, quarantined. And again, we can look at the past literature. That study was very in-depth about the prior outbreak, and they did get it under control. But what they did was they quarantined and isolated people for 40 days because of the long incubation period. So unfortunately, this is a key factor in us trying to figure out, how do we keep people safe? How do we prevent further spread? I mean, what we're all tracking right now is that potential secondary spread. And then how do we minimize those who are infected from infecting others?
I don't think anyone should be panicked or worried. Our CDC is competent, one of the best in the world, and our Surgeon General, who sells vitamins, and RFK Jr. are probably the most well-equipped to tidy this up. Don't be a panicking. Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking like deadly disease spreading. Thank God RFK Jr. is manning the ship. That's usually what I think. And I also think, thank God Donald Trump is the president, because it worked out really well last time. You know, 1 million plus dead Americans. Unbelievable levels of vaccine hesitancy here in the United States of America. We basically rolled back the clock on other diseases that were damn near eradicated as a direct consequence of inoculation campaigns perishing overnight due to the unstoppable vaccine hesitancy campaigns. So definitely a very cool time to have any deadly disease manifest. Very cool. You right, Biden did a better job with COVID. I mean, I don't think any American president is well equipped to deal with COVID. I think America as a country is not well equipped to deal with COVID, but at least RFK Jr. will make it worse. We know that, right? Fake news.
You've been briefed on the virus. Yes, I have. Can you tell us what you learned in these briefings? briefings.
Well, I think you're going to be told everything, and you already have. It's very much, we hope, under control. It was the ship, and I think we're going to make a full report about it tomorrow. We have a lot of people, a lot of great people are studying it. It should be fine. We hope.
Should Americans be concerned that it's going to spread? And how are you working to get those
I hope not. We'll do the best we can, yeah.
To get the Americans that are on the ship home.
Our country. Any other questions?
Mr. President, I'm also with ABC.
Oh, he said, I hope not.
Hantavirus. Have you been briefed?
Well, I'm convinced things are good. Never better. He said, I hope not.